Alright everyone, so I just finished watching the Apple event where Apple launched the new iPhones, new AirPods and new Apple Watches. And in this video, I will tell you all about what's new, what's changed, what's unchanged and what's disappointing with this year's iPhones. I will tell you everything, so let's get started. And just a little disclaimer, like every year, we're only seeing incremental upgrades in this year's iPhones too, but thankfully, the prices have not increased. The iPhone 16, the regular one, starts at $799 and we have the Pro models that start at $999. Okay, so with that out of the way, let me first talk about the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus. And if you're wondering if Apple has finally upgraded to a smoother 90 or 120 Hz display in their base iPhones, I am sorry to disappoint you, it is still 60 Hz all over again. Funnily, Apple didn't even talk a bit about the display in their keynote, so we are getting the same OLED panel as last year's iPhone 15 and 15 Plus with 2000 nits of peak brightness, although they have improved the minimum brightness to just 1 nit this year. As always, there are some cool color options, 5 in total actually, but other than that, the build quality is practically the same with aluminum frames and a glass back. However, Apple says that there's a new ceramic shield glass which is supposedly 50% tougher than the one on the iPhone 15 series. Apart from that, we also get to see two new buttons. Number one is this action button which has replaced the mute switch, and number two is this camera control button. This is a capacitive button that allows you to press to click a photo, long press to record a video, and slide up and down to zoom in or out, among other things. There were also rumors that this button would be compatible with other third-party camera apps other than the native camera app, but I guess Apple was just not ready for that yet. Alright, so while we're talking about the cameras, the rumors and the leak renders were right, everybody. The camera layout of the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus has changed now. Apple wants all their newer iPhones to shoot spatial videos that are compatible with the Apple Vision Pro, and for that, both the main and the secondary lens need to be vertically aligned as they need to work together. Hence, the regular iPhone 16 and 16 Plus have a camera module that is vertically placed, just like the 4-year-old iPhone 12. Spec-wise, there's a new 48-megapixel Fusion primary camera now, which basically means it has 2x optical zoom. I was also hoping that the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus would have a higher resolution ultra-wide-angle camera, but sadly, the only change in the ultra-wide-angle department is the addition of autofocus for macro shots and nothing else. There is a major upgrade in the performance side though, with the new A18 chip to make sure the new iPhones play nice with all the Apple Intelligence features. Apple never officially discloses memory capacity on iPhones, but I am like 99.99% sure that the A18 chip is married with 8 GB of RAM as well, compared to how last year's iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus only had 6 GB of memory and therefore were not compatible with Apple Intelligence at all. Besides that, Apple says the new A18 processor's neural engine is also better optimized for large generative models. So yeah, I am really looking forward to all the AI stuff with this year's iPhones. Sadly, most of the interesting AI features will not be available at launch. They will arrive later, some in the coming month or two, while others are scheduled to arrive next year. Whereas this new chip also is more powerful and more power efficient compared to the iPhone 15's A16 Bionic. But what's disappointing is that we don't get vapor chamber cooling yet again, since Apple is still sticking with a graphene sheet to get rid of all the heat. So it's going to be interesting to see how the heat management on the new iPhones will pan out. Lastly, Apple says the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus also bring a bigger battery, and that's paired with a more efficient 3nm chip. So I am also expecting notably better battery life this time. But on the flip side, the charging standards remain the same, with the good old 20-watt fast charging support and the slower USB 2.0 standard. Alright, over to the more interesting part, the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. First of all, the sizes of both these phones have increased. We are now looking at a bigger 6.3-inch and a 6.9-inch screen on the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max respectively, which means the iPhone 16 Pro Max is taller and wider than ever. So I am not quite sure how it will hold in my tiny hands. The bezels on the front are trimmed down very nicely though. Apple says the iPhone 16 Pro series has the thinnest bezels on any iPhone, and just like the regular iPhone 16, you will also get the second gen ceramic shield glass as well as the new camera button here. I was actually hoping that Apple would address the weak frame issue of the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but they're still using the same grade 5 titanium frame infused with aluminium inside the phone, and that's it. In fact, it was funny when they compared it with Samsung's grade 2 titanium. Come on Apple, at least Samsung's titanium did not break. On the brighter side, we have new color options this time, as expected. I personally love the desert titanium color, which I also think is going to be everybody's choice this year. Anyway, its performance is complemented by the new A18 Pro chip on the Pro iPhone models with a 6-core GPU as opposed to the A18's 5-core GPU. And Apple usually likes to throw in a lot of numbers, but if you look at the specs, the A18 Pro isn't that big of a leap over the A17 Pro actually. Of course, I am yet to test it out in the real world, so I will save my judgment for later. The one number that caught my eye in particular was how Apple said that the A18 Pro has 2x better ray tracing, but honestly, I haven't even played one ray-traced game on my iPhone 15 Pro Max yet, so I don't know if I should be excited about that at all. Okay, moving on, another interesting thing that Apple claimed was that the new iPhone 16 Pro Max has the best battery life in the history of iPhones. Usually that title used to go to the Plus variant, so I am really excited to put that to test as well. Now over to the cameras, we finally get an updated 48 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera for better ultra-wide and macro shots, along with a 48 megapixel fusion primary and a 12 megapixel 5x telephoto lens. Also, you should know that while the 5x camera was only available on the iPhone 15 Pro Max last year, the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max both share the same camera setup this time. Photography-wise, there aren't a lot of interesting things this year other than the photography style feature that lets me quickly stylize my photos the way I want. Instead, it's really the videography side of things that I am looking forward to the most here, because now we finally get 4K 120 FPS recording support for the main camera, that too with Dolby Vision HDR. And during the keynote, Apple was especially proud of the microphone quality on the iPhone 16 Pro series as well. These two now use studio quality 4 mic array, which has been brilliantly complemented with the audio mix feature, where I can really customize the background and foreground sounds on my video projects. And just like the regular iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, the iPhone 16 Pro series can also record spatial video and spatial audio. Overall, I think this year too, we are only getting the most incremental upgrade in iPhones, both on the Pro as well as the non-Pro models. Everything just mostly revolves around Apple Intelligence, which is not even fully available at launch. So if you own an iPhone 13 or newer models, I still don't actually see a solid reason to upgrade. Yes, the faster performance, better ultra-wide angle camera, 4K 120 FPS recording are nice upgrades to have, but older iPhones still click awesome photos and videos and are still wickedly fast enough for you to notice a difference. But if you own iPhone 12 or some older iPhone, the iPhone 16 series might just be the right upgrade for you. So everybody, with this we've come to the end of this video, and those were my thoughts on the newly launched iPhones. What are your thoughts? Do let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Saying this, I'm Pratima, and I will see you in my next video.